Hey guys, it's Sarah from Just My Typewriter, and today we're talking ribbons. It's no secret that I've struggled to switch out my typewriter ribbons before. I've tried a few different types of typewriter ribbons, including Amazon replacements, We Are Memory Keepers ribbons, and the Zen typewriter ribbon replacement. But today, we're trying out for the first time ever a cotton ribbon. I had no idea, but apparently most modern typewriter ribbons are made out of nylon. It has a very tight weave, which keeps the ribbon from gunking up your type slug. It's pretty cheap and pretty easy to get a hold of. Both the We Are Memory Keepers ribbon and the Zen typewriter ribbon I have on my Golden Touch Underwood are made of nylon. When I went to Chicago, I met Lucas of Typewriter Chicago, and he introduced me to the mythical cotton typewriter ribbon. I'd never heard of it before, but it's a more traditional type of ribbon material with a looser weave, so it transfers more ink onto the page. It can also leave more residue on your type slugs over time, but the difference of impression is like the difference between typing in standard versus typing in bold. Or so I was told. So I decided to put it to the test. I brought out 3 machines with 3 different types of ribbon, and I put them through my usual type test. I first started with the We Are Memory Keepers ribbon on this We Are Memory Keepers typewriter. Now, this typewriter is not the heftiest machine I've ever used, but I know for sure that this one has a We Are Memory Keepers typewriter ribbon on it. So I first tested it with a plain sheet of printer paper, then this special thin paper called Tomo River paper. I was given this by a friend and I really like how it accepts ink. And finally, I tested it on cardstock. Obviously, this typewriter isn't the world's best, but it's a good test of how deep of a color the black in this ink is on the We Are Memory Keepers typewriter ribbon. It's actually a bit gray looking and not super dark on the page, so let's try something else. I also have this Underwood Deluxe Golden Touch. This machine is the one that I put my Zen typewriters ribbon replacement on, so I figured I'd try out that ribbon too. Now this is still a nylon ribbon, but across the 3 paper types, you can see the difference between this ribbon and the Memory Keepers. It's much darker, as if it's more saturated. You can clearly see the bowls and letters cleanly, like this in the O's or in the inside of P's or on numbers. Overall, it just looks cleaner. Finally, I decided to put this new cotton ribbon from Typewriter Chicago on my new Remington travel writer. Now let me start by saying I've never put a ribbon on a Remington before. I didn't realize they have a different spooling mechanism, and then I also didn't realize that this was only one color. Whoops! I figured that I already had come this far, so I was committed. I wrapped the new cotton ribbon around both spool inserts and then placed it on the machine. Unlike the other ribbons, this one does not have a grommet on the inside, but rather a knot, which can add some bulk to the respooling process if you don't tighten it up around it. It also feels much stiffer to the touch than the nylon ones, which can make it almost feel more wet when you first try them. So after fighting with them, because I'm so uneducated in the ways of a Remington, I tested it out. I first started with the white paper, and the difference is immediate. Now, I usually suggest that you let your ribbons air out just a little bit before using them, but I was too excited to try this one, so I went in pretty heavy-handed, and I love the look of it. It adds a much darker color saturation to the black ink, and it softens up the edges of your letters a little bit more than the nylon. It's exactly like typing in bold. Now it does fill in some of the bowls of the letters, like in the E's and the A's, and this could be just because I didn't let it sit out long enough, or because it's more of a medium weave. I kind of really like the look of it though. It's a little bit less precise, but I think that gives it a different style. If you have multiple typewriters, it can be really cool to compare the different ribbon types to each other, depending on the mood that you're in. Want to go bold? There's a ribbon for that. There are drawbacks to the cotton ribbons, mostly the cleaning. Lucas suggests not to use cotton ribbons on finely detailed fonts like a script font. It'll gunk up your type slug much faster than a newer nylon style ribbon, but if you just take a toothbrush and some mineral spirits to it, you can clean it right up. I've listed all of the videos and links I've referenced below in the description box. I'm curious to hear what other ribbons you've tried and liked, so leave me a comment below or DM me on my Instagram, just.my.typewriter. I want to thank you all so much for watching and remind you, you're just my type. Writer.